manipulating time and space as if it were clay in the hands of a sculptor. The Time Mage is not your typical ranged caster. Harnessing the physical nature of the universe comes with atypical results in battle, to both the benefit of your allies and the detriment of your foes. Speeding up allies so they take their turns faster, or even immediately, and dampening time for your enemies so they don't act as often is how Time Mages bring value to your roster. Sticking units in place to rain devastating meteors from space onto is also within the realm of possibility for these support units. Time Mages also have access to some of the highest value abilities in the game, and are available relatively quickly in your journey, so taking the effort to grow one is well worth it. Hi, I'm Mikey from Tactics Live Tournament, and today I have another episode in the Job Focus series. The goal of these videos is to crack open the hood on each class, present technical information in a simplified way, and help you make better choices when raising your squad. In today's Job Focus, we're going to do a deep dive into the Time Mage class, looking at their equipment choices, how their abilities work, and touch on how to manage their stats. If a strong caster with an interesting ability set is missing from your PvP roster single-player story playthrough, let's slow it down a bit and not get too hasty as we get into a Time Mage Job Focus session. Time Mages offer up some of the most important abilities in the game, and are worth investing job points into when they become available early on in your progression. While they may not seem like a worthwhile upgrade from their prerequisite Black Mage job, because they do not specialize in damage dealing, their support-oriented abilities help bolster other units' effectiveness and decrease the enemies. While Time Magics are dependent on faith for effectiveness, they do boast some high success rates for most spells, and your most frequently used magics are very quick to cast. If you're worried Time Mages are going to be frail or stunt your unit's growth, not to worry, as they have decent class and growth stats. To unlock the Time Mage, you will need a level 2 Chemist and a level 3 Black Mage. Seeing as how we will be using Time Mage abilities throughout the rest of our journey well into endgame, it is fortunate we are able to start learning them early on. Following the typical mage loadout, we can expect some predictable gear selections for our Time Mage. Staves are our main hand weapon of choice, and staves only. You're going to want to boost your MA if possible, though the options to do so with this weapon type are slim. For the rest of your equipment, you can don robes for MA bonuses, or clothes to look for speed bonuses where possible. Hats are also available to you, and again, you can look to maximize your success of Time Magics with MA boosts, or be a speedy support with boosts to speed. For your accessory, the doors are wide open, and your choice of defensive items, MA boosting gloves, or extra movement for your teleport are all good picks. Go with whatever complements the rest of your build best. Now that we've given our Time Mages the equipment they need to be the best support possible, let's get into the abilities that will deliver on that promise. All Time Magics follow the standard faith-based calculations we've seen from other jobs. That's going to be your faith as a percentage multiplied by your target's faith as a percentage. You multiply this against your Time Mage's MA stat plus the innate success rate, which varies between abilities. Meteor hits automatically, and its damage is calculated much like other Time Magics following the standard faith formula, but now multiplied by your MA times 60. Definitely expect some big numbers for all that weighting. Your basic skills, haste and slow, have very high success rates and cast in only 2 clock ticks. Getting these 2 spells should be your highest priority, and using them at the start of the battle will deliver a lot of value. The upgraded version of these spells offer higher success rates and 3 height of effect versus the height of 0 for the standard versions. You can safely save these for later. Immobilize is devastating against enemy melee units and has a great success rate. Stop is equally punishing against every unit type that is vulnerable to it and very difficult to remove. While I mentioned that Time Mages have no damage dealing, that's not entirely true thanks to Gravity and Graviga, which reduce the target HP by 25 and 50% respectively. These are amazing ways to get through a tank's defenses or reduce bosses down to manageable sizes. Not to be overlooked, utility spells like Reflect and Float have their uses in certain situations. Reflect is great if you know you'll be facing casters, won't rely on white magics to sustain your team, while Float will safely grant you passage over obstacles like water or lava by raising you 1 height above the ground. Quick grants 100 count time to the unit it successfully cast on, granting them an immediate turn. Its success is not high, so don't rely on this skill as a cornerstone to your strategy, though using Quick on an ally with magic counter will send the spell right back to the caster for some interesting looping, if it lands on both targets. The last and final Time Mage spell is rather useless if not completely for show, and that's Meteor. It is quite powerful with a huge effect radius, but is excruciatingly slow, taking 13 clock ticks to cast. For reaction abilities, you have one of the best skills in the game to learn for a measly 400 job points, and that's Mana Shield. Getting this skill on your melee units is a worthwhile grind, as it finally puts their useless MP to good use. It can serve a defensive purpose for your casters as well, but remember, they still need MP to cast their spells. Time Mages can also learn Critical Quick, which I recommend way less, as getting yourself into critical state just for an extra turn is a desperate move, and an easy circumstance to avoid for the enemy. For passive skills, at a whopping 1000 job points, you can learn Swiftness, which halves the cast time for all of your spells. This is not just great for the Time Mage, whose abilities already fire off relatively quickly, but for jobs like Summoners and White Mages who need their effects on the battlefield ASAP. Again, you will find an incredibly important skill in the movement ability section, Teleport. This skill allows you to pass through obstacles or units and reappear potentially anywhere on the map, depending on your movement rate. For each tile you want to move beyond your normal range, subtract 10% from your success rate. That means a character with a move of 4 will have a 70% chance to move 7 spaces. The other movement ability skill, Levitate, is pretty useless, and a permanent float skill can be safely skipped over. Let's take a look now at the class and growth stats for our Time Mage. Like other jobs of this type, we are given the standard 3 move, 3 jump, and 5% class evasion. When we look at our class stats, things are looking a little better and a little more atypical. A small hit to our HP with 75, 120 to our MP is great, 50 to our PA can be expected, but 130 to our MA is most welcome, with standard 100 to our speed. Clearly, this is a high-powered mage ready to flex that magical muscle. For stat growth, we have fairly decent HP and very good MP growth. Our PA could definitely be worse considering, and our MA and speed remain standard. It is nice to see that switching to a Time Mage from a Black Mage won't lower your total power output too much, providing a good baseline to ensure higher success rates for your abilities. And while you're grinding out key skills, you aren't hampered with poor stat growth. Being the immediate upgrade from the all-powerful Black Mage, the Time Mage can be difficult to get accustomed with. It does not take long, however, to realize their value and learn enough skills to last you throughout the game. Increasing the chances of success for your Time Magics depends on your faith, the faith of the target, and your MA stat. Look to your equipment to raise this important stat. Haste, Slow, and Immobilize are your base skills to learn first, provide amazing value when used at the start of the battle. Don't discount Gravity for tougher units and story bosses. Mana Shield should be a high priority for melee units, so plan on taking them down this job path at some point. The skill serves casters less, but still worthwhile to pick up. Teleport is one of the best movement abilities in the game for both casters and close combat fighters. Remember that your move stat determines your teleport range and success rates for extending beyond that. They are reduced for 10% for every tile you want to move beyond your move rate. This concludes this episode of the Job Focus series with the Time Mage. If you enjoyed today's content, throwing out a like is a great way to show your appreciation and getting the video in front of more people. By subscribing to the channel, you're joining a community of passionate Final Fantasy Tactics players that one day you may be playing with or against in War of the Lions multiplayer. The mission of this channel is to get more rendezvous and melee matches going between all of us, and eventually have a tournament to really showcase how fun and exciting these features can be. If you're still enjoying this game 25 years after its release, it's for a reason, and all of us here feel the same way. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and help make our mission of a live tournament a reality. This is Mikey from Tactics Live Tournament signing off. I will see you in the next video. And until then, be well everyone.